Okay, so we're recording.
Okay.
I do collect, I do use the audio that Zoom gives you at the end, gives you an audio only file and a video file. And I do have a podcast dedicated YouTube channel that I haven't done anything with. I've only uploaded my initial introductory episode. I didn't upload anything else yet. I'm not really quite sure what I'm doing with them yet, but I have this idea that's just still hazy. So that's why I'm still using Zoom.
Okay. So you may put it in a YouTube. So I might as well look look presentable. I'm gonna put my some lipstick.
Oh, you're fine. As I brush my bangs. With me, the bangs thing is more of a sensory thing. Because if they're on my face wrong, I feel weird. Oh, that's a pretty top.
Looking like a lady
now. Wow. You got some badass arms, lady. Okay, now, pronounce me your last name. Taboada?
Taboada.
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 Yeah. Okay, so I was right.
Yeah.
All right. The last thing I want to do is say that wrong, you know. Let's not cough. Okay. We're starting. I wish it would give me a timer.
Oh, the Zoom, eh? No, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't. So I try to time it on my phone. Okay. Are you ready? I suppose. Okay. Welcome, everyone, to Permission to Heal. I am Marcy Brockman, and I am thrilled that you're here. Today, on this very special episode, we have Claudia Taboada. You are going to love her. She has a Bachelor of Science in Biochemistry and a law degree from the University of Ottawa. She's a former labor and employment attorney and a disability rights advocate, an author, an entrepreneur, and a women's empowerment coach and motivational speaker from Montreal. Claudia's most precious and important role is that of being a devoted mom to her two sons, Nico and Alex. But it just starts here. Claudia Taboada is an author, a motivational speaker, like I said, a women's empowerment and mental performance coach, and the founder of Unstoppable You by Claudia Taboada, with the mission to empower burned out and overwhelmed moms and help them reclaim their health, rediscover their spark, and become unstoppable. She's the author of the women's empowerment memoir, Burnout to Unstoppable, which details her transformational journey from a burned out autism mom who lost her identity in the autism caregiving journey to a self-actualized mom going after her dreams with confidence. And she is a badass, let me tell you. Claudia accomplished her transformation via the self-care, mindset, and stress reduction habits that are now part of her signature program, the Self-Care Blueprint for the Unstoppable You. And her second book, tentatively entitled Non-Negotiable Self-Care Habits to Be an Unstoppable Mom, is in the works and should be published in late spring 2021. Along with her books, her online Facebook community, Burnout to Unstoppable Moms, and her series of online courses, Claudia is quickly establishing herself as an authority on the self-care for women's empowerment space. In the past 6 months, she has appeared on several podcasts. She's been a guest speaker in online summits and virtual stages, including the Speakers Pathway Coalition, Message of Inspiration and Hope virtual stage. Claudia also recently participated in an open mic TEDx Montreal women's online event where she spoke about mindset and resilience. She has a fitness account on Instagram at Badass Autism Mama. It is amazing. I look at it every day. Has over 15,000 followers who are inspired by her zest for life, badassery, and athletic achievements. She has 23 marathons and counting in exotic international places. She is quickly establishing herself as a self-care for women's empowerment, stress resilience expert. And who couldn't use that? Wow, Claudia, I'm exhausted just reading the bio, let alone having done everything. I am so thrilled that you're here. Thank you for coming.
And thank you for having me. I am so thrilled to be here. So happy to be here. And, finally meeting you and, just getting together and having a chat.
Yeah, absolutely. We met through the BSA, through.
That's it.
Yeah, pretty amazing. It was a great 8 weeks, that course.
Oh my God, yeah. And it's
Totally
over.
transformational.
Oh, I know. Completely we talked about getting out of our comfort zone, eh? And that really forced us to get out of our comfort zone.
Absolutely. This podcast
Yeah.
was born out of that whole
That's true.
process.
That's true, because you began that. Yeah, it's true.
4 weeks ago. I launched November 28th and it's only the 17th of December. So
yeah.
yeah.
Oh my God. And you've got all these amazing guests.
And it's
From
amazing.
BSA.
Yeah. A lot from BSA,
Mm-hmm.
from the Elephant Journal, because their whole online writing community. And I found a bunch on LinkedIn, and just people are starting to reach out to me. It's really
Mm-hmm.
quite amazing how this is
Mm-hmm.
just exploding. I finally feel like I'm doing the right thing at the right time in the right
Mm-hmm.
way.
That you
And
are in your,
this is
that you
what
find your way.
it's supposed to
You
be.
find your way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I always begin the interviews with the 6 magical quick questions,
Mm-hmm.
sort of like in the actor studio, you know. I find this very interesting. So what 5 words would you use to describe yourself?
Oh my God, I don't remember what I wrote, but
You
let me
didn't
see.
answer. You said, I
Yeah, I
don't
didn't
know if I'll
answer.
respond, so I'm leaving them blank. I have no idea. So let's spontaneous, you know. Your answers today might be different than they would be tomorrow. That's okay.
Badass. Is that
Yes,
5
I would
days?
agree. That has to
Badass.
be there. Badass for sure.
Mm-hmm. Unstoppable.
Mm-hmm.
Resilient. Um, um, let's see. How many do I have? Badass.
That was 3.
Unstoppable. Resilient. Passionate.
Yeah.
And determined.
Determined. Excellent. Excellent. From what I know about you, absolutely perfect words. What is your favorite way to spend a day?
My favorite way to spend a day, well, with my kids, but also having some time for me, where I do some self-care for me, which is to either, do some exercise. As you know, I'm a runner, so I would go for my run. Early in the morning, I would start it with a Epsom salts bath.
Ooh,
And then yeah, so I would probably do a morning routine where I would have my self-care, at least an hour of self-care stuff, running and journaling or meditation, and then have some time for my kids. But I would start it with some me time.
that sounds
Yeah.
excellent. We were talking about, before we started recording, we were talking about you actually went running today. So it's December 17th, and you said it was minus 19 degrees and you were still out there running.
Oh yes, yes,
That's
yes, yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. Well, it's as I was telling you, like just going out of my comfort, going outside when it's cold like that, it really makes me go out of my comfort zone. And every time I come back, I feel like $1,000,000. So it's part of my routine, that especially in this times, when Christmas is coming, the kids are back from at home 24/7, and I've got a lot of projects going on. It's like stress levels. I feel my stress levels go up. So I catch myself immediately. I say to myself, okay, what are your stress reduction strategies? One of them is running. So I go for my run outside. So
That's
yeah.
amazing. I actually, I need to reorient my mindset
Mm-hmm.
to do those things, like,
Mm-hmm.
because when I feel stressed and I feel like, there's so much going on and I have too many tabs open on the browser of my brain,
Yes.
I
Yes.
turn to food.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I could
Mm-hmm.
eat a whole box of cookies
Mm-hmm.
or a whole
Yeah.
sleeve of cookies without thinking about it,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and that's not so good for my health, I
Yeah.
mean, my diet is fine, like the meals that I choose, but it's portion control and snacking, and I don't exercise.
Snacking. Yeah.
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 And I
Snacking.
don't exercise. I make plans too. I buy good sneakers to it. I have
Yeah.
good, nice running, like exercise clothes, but I don't ever wear them and I don't ever do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I'm
That.
great at making plans and I just don't follow
Mm-hmm.
through. So,
Well, that happened to me. If it was really forced, I was forced to actually go out and do some exercise because we had a dog at the time, and that's how it started. And then it became became a long life habit, and that's how it is. It's really a consistency thing.
sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Number 3, what is your favorite childhood memory?
I think going to the beach with my parents. I would go to the beach, and I was born in El Salvador, and I was there. I moved to Canada when we were 15, and we were like 45 minutes to the beach, and the beach was gorgeous. So I think it
Sure.
was, all our weekend trips to the beach. I
With
think
the
those were my
family.
bit with the family. Yeah.
That's lovely. What is your favorite meal?
Oh, my favorite meal. My favorite meal. I had to say, I think I have to say my green soup. I on the weekends I do this soup where I put all this frozen vegetables, whatever I have on the fridge, and I make this soup, and it's my soup for the week. And
Really?
so I it's my yeah, and I when I'm in a rush or in hurry or something, I have my soup, and that's my kind of my snack. So I kind of like, it's become part of me. Like every Sunday I make myself this big green soup, and it depends, it can be any type of vegetables that I have on the fridge, but I make my soup, and then I know that I'm having my greens during the week, because sometimes, it's hectic and
Sure.
stuff and I don't have time.
Too easy to grab a
And
cookie. Much better to grab that soup.
yeah, and I put it in my cup, and that's and I drink it
So what,
regularly. And
what kind of base do you use? Do you use like a chicken broth or a vegetable broth or
actually, yeah, I put it a chicken broth. Yeah, chicken broth, or sometimes a bone broth. I buy it
the
at
bone
the store.
broth?
They actually, yeah, yeah. So that's
Yeah.
my base. And then, but I do some onions first. I put some onions first, and then after that, I put my frozen vegetables with water.
Uh-huh.
No, not with water, with the broth,
Yeah.
and then I just mix it after I with the hand mixer, and it becomes like a potage, like a, so
Oh, so it's smooth
yeah,
because
yeah,
you've
yeah, yeah,
broken up all the
yeah.
pieces.
That's it. And I have that every day. with I know that I having my greens. I have it once or
Wow.
twice a
That is a good
yeah,
idea.
yeah, yeah. I give that to my clients. I say, when you don't have time, or that you need to eat healthy, and you don't have time to be making yourself a salad or whatever, just make yourself a soup, and I just grab it, put it in a cup, and drink it.
And I suppose if you
That's
wanted it to be a little sweeter, you could throw some berries in there if you wanted, or,
You
you know,
could, yeah.
why not?
Just to make it, yeah, yeah, yeah. You could,
Very interesting.
absolutely,
It's like a warm
absolutely.
smoothie.
That's it. Yes, and I get my greens. I know that I'm getting my greens when I'm, we don't have much time
Yeah.
to eat well. So yeah.
Okay, let's answer number 5. What one piece of advice would you like to give your younger self?
What this piece of advice? I would say to find your why. Try to find your why early on, because I mean, I'm just, finding myself, like the last couple of years since I wrote since I decided to write my book, that I really found exactly what I wanted to do. On the other hand, I realized that when you are that young, you probably don't have all this the life experiences that you have. So I
Right.
think, so I don't know, I would say, um what would I say? Keep persevering, and because I think I persevere more now. I'm less impatient than I was when I
Sure.
was younger. Yeah.
Well, I
So
think being a mom, especially being a special needs mom, forces you to have patience in
you
ways
have
that
no
you
choice.
never
Yeah.
would have thought you would be able to beforehand.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. A
Yeah,
lot of learning experiences that, yeah, definitely.
exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is the one thing you would most like to change about the world?
Oh, about the world. What would I most change about the world? Um,
That's not a small question.
That's not a small question, but I mean, if I go into what drives me, if I go into what's my, the people that I serve, I
Right.
would I would say the world to wake up to motherhood burnout, because that is my passion.
Yeah.
That I believe that a lot of moms are burned out, overwhelmed, and a lot of them lose their identity, and we're not helping them enough. Whether it's moms with special needs children, single moms who have to work 3 jobs, and it's
That was me.
it's
Yeah.
it's really, yeah, exactly, and it's the reality that we have to find ways to help them. Is there a government that can help, that can give some aid, or the private sector, but really realize that there's a set of moms, or women around the world. It's not only in the States or in Canada, it's everywhere.
Yeah. This is a
That's
universal issue.
It's universal, and these moms are losing their identity. It's what I believe, it's a loss of human potential,
Yeah.
because that's how I see it. That's how I see myself. When I was 11 years ago, I had completely lost myself, and I had no identity. And I just see myself now. It's like, oh my God, this is who I was meant to be all this time. And if it hadn't been for my transformational journey, I wouldn't be here talking to you. I
Right.
wouldn't be here talking to you. So it's really that's what it's really something that I really want to stress. Every time I go to podcasts, is I believe that motherhood burnout is our new, it's going, especially now after COVID, it's going to be a new pandemic.
Yeah.
It's going to be a pandemic everywhere. So
Absolutely. When I was home with 2 young children, and I had taken some time off of work. I'm a public school teacher, and I had
yeah.
taken some time off of work when they were really little so that I could be home with them. But I remember, I don't have any grown-ups to talk to, and I'm stuck in the house by myself, and I've got these 2 young kids. And I was like 100% of all of my energy and all of my brain power was devoted to them. And then I was sort of forgetting who Marcy was. Like, what did I want to do with my life? And even when
Exactly.
I went back to teaching, so now I'm the English teacher at school, and at home I'm mom, and like, where did Marcy wind up? After my divorce, it got worse, because in order to make ends meet, I was working a full-time job and 2 part-time jobs just to make the mortgage payment, and the two young kids, and a zillion activities. And how do you manage it all? How do you find who you are in the middle of all of that?
That's it. Yeah. And that's when people, when we get lost,
Yeah.
and we don't even know, we don't even know why we are here in this world. All this potential that is being
Right.
buried in this stress and overwhelm
Exactly.
and all. Yeah.
Yeah. And I always felt like there was more to me than just that. I mean, being a mom has been one of the most important things that I've ever undertaken in my life. And my children, as you feel, I'm sure your children are just a gift to you can't imagine your life without them. And I love my job, but there had to have been something else. I knew there was something else, but I couldn't figure out what. And I've been keeping journals. You were talking about journaling as one of your self-care rituals. I've been keeping journals since 1983. So it's been quite a long time.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And through writing, I have figured out, to me, that's my method, because I don't necessarily listen carefully enough to my own internal dialogue, like and I think through writing, I'm able to really discover what's driving me.
Me too. Yeah, me too as well. Yeah, it was really, writing, it's kind of like my brain dump, but at the same time, it kind of orients me. It makes me realize, okay, these are my interests. These
Right.
are my passions. And and I think it was really when I started journaling that I began to realize that I was more than just a special needs mom.
Yes.
And that's how my evolution began.
So what do you think is behind the reason that moms don't take care of themselves the way they should? They don't make time for themselves and their own self-care.
There's a lot of limiting beliefs, and the number one, well, there's different ones, but one of the ones that I hear the most with my clients is that they say that they don't have time. They
Sure.
don't have time to take care of themselves because they are, they already have too much to do with the kids and the house and the work. And but that's a limiting belief that we need to destroy, because it's a matter of realizing that self-care is non-negotiable. It is what is going to be making us the best moms and the best individuals that we can be. So it's really a matter of realizing, we have to treat self-care as if it was another important meeting that we
Right.
have during the day. So it's a meeting with ourselves. So it really have to be scheduled. It has to be with, it has to be one of the top priorities, or the top priority. Because if you're not, if you're not feeling empowered physically and mentally, then you're not going to be the best that you can be, the absolute best you can be. And that's one of my, the things that I always say to my moms is like, really, see it as a non-negotiable. And another limiting belief is that they believe that it is selfish or that is a luxury. So again, I bring them again to the fact that they have to realize that it's a necessity. It's not, it is not a luxury. It's not something that, it is a necessity. For you to be the best person that you can be, you need to take care of your physical, your mental, your emotional health. And it's time that you have to carve out in order to take care of those spheres in your life.
Sure.
And um,
And I think during COVID, especially, I think that there's one thing that we have learned is that our health is the most important thing to safeguard,
mhm.
because without it, there
We
isn't
have
anything
nothing.
else. There is nothing
Exactly.
else. You can't be a
Exactly.
good mom. You can't do your job. You can't enjoy watching your children grow up. You can't plan for the future. You can't enjoy right now if you're not healthy.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. We cannot take it, we not can't take that for granted anymore. Like we
No.
realize, especially with COVID, that we
Yeah.
cannot take our health for granted. And one of the things, like for me, when I realized that, as a special needs mom, and my son is very severe in the spectrum, and he's not going to be able to, have a job or have a girlfriend. He's going to be dependent on his parents. And that was one of the things that would keep me awake all the time, is saying, what is going to happen? But then I realized, I need to be in the present moment. I have to take care of myself as well, because
Right.
otherwise I'm not going to be able to endure and help him, as much as I can. So that's one of one of my whys that enable me to see, to say to myself, you really have to take care of yourself, because I had been in burnout mode for maybe 8 years
Yeah.
before I started realizing this, that I needed to take care of myself, because I was not going to my doctor's appointments. I was not eating right. I was not drinking enough water. I was not exercising. I was not, not taking care of my mental health as well. It
And
was
that has
just like,
much more of an effect than just your mental health. I'm a firm believer that what we think is what we manifest, and like the
mhm,
connection, the mind body connection really cannot be overestimated.
mhm.
So what you're thinking, toxic thoughts about yourself or self-limiting beliefs, I think have a physical manifestation. Am I right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Like it becomes a stress. It becomes a stressor. If you
Right.
have all those negative, thoughts and beliefs, they become a stress. And like for me, that was eating away at me, just thinking about the future anxieties, what is going to happen to my son. And eventually I just told myself, you need to be in the present moment, and just focus on what you can control now, because who knows what's going to happen when he's older. But
Right.
you
You
really need
can't
to take
predict
care.
that. You can
You
only do
cannot.
now.
And my anxiety, like when I realized that I needed to be in the present moment, my anxiety just, because I was always thinking what's going to happen in the future, and that will keep me awake at night.
Sure.
I was stressed out, I was anxious, etc., etc. And
And you're
it's
not
really,
sleeping, and yeah.
yes, and you're not eating well, not sleeping, and completely exhausted. That it got to a point that one day I could have had an accident. I was driving between appointments with my son. I was driving on a two-way street, and I almost fell asleep on the wheel.
Wow.
Thank
That's
God
so
there was no
scary.
cars, no cars coming, incoming cars, because we would have been killed, my son and I. And the thing is that that could have been a wake up moment, but I was so stressed out and so overwhelmed, and that I just kept going. I just kept going, kept
Yeah.
going for another couple of years, 3 years, until the moment that changed my life, that was getting a dog from my son, like a guide dog. And
Okay.
that's how my
That's your
self-care
sliding
journey
door moment right
that's
there.
how my self-care journey began. That we got this dog, and I began to take this dog out for walks. And when I started taking this dog out for walk, I realized, oh my God, I haven't been by myself for 8 years, since my son had been diagnosed. I had not been by myself. I had not been on a walk by myself. And I started craving these walks because they became my times of self-reflection, introspection, just
Meditative.
meditate. Yes, yes. It was like I was in the present moment. I was walking, and I was just like, wow, finally I can declutter all
Sure.
the thoughts and the stress and the anxiety. I can finally, my mind can just relax. And I that's when I started to realize, oh my God, this is how my life is going. Something needs to change. I cannot
Absolutely.
keep like that. I cannot, it's not, um I cannot keep being neglecting myself, because otherwise, what's going to happen to my son?
Right.
Mom needs to have the energy and the mental strength to be able to endure the caregiving journey.
Yeah.
And that's yeah, how it started.
I think there are some, while I was listening to you, I thought of two things. I hope I can actually remember both of them. But I think that for many of us, it's the idea of being the mama lion who's there for our kids that gets us to do the self-care and the change, have the
Hmm.
mental shift
Hmm.
to be better for ourselves as well as our kids. And
Hmm.
then I think that the kids themselves, that concept of being a mom and being the caregiver for your children, is the catalyst for a
Hmm.
whole lot of personal change and growth
Hmm.
and the
Hmm.
embarking on a healing journey, etc.
Yeah. Hmm.
I know for me that it 100% was. I
Hmm.
ended toxic relationship with my mom and with other people in my life, even though I would have probably personally endured it for a very long time. I remember having one of those sliding door moments, like the light bulb moment,
Hmm.
where
Hmm.
there was just this very quick shift where I was like, no, I'm not going to be victimized by you anymore. I'm not going
Hmm.
to allow this toxicity in my life because I have to protect them.
That's it. Yeah.
I can
Hmm.
protect my den and I can protect my cubs and get the F out of my life,
Hmm.
or, whatever it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Hmm.
I think that for a lot of us, our kids are the catalyst. Motherhood itself is the catalyst. Um,
Hmm.
and I
Hmm.
completely lost the second
Absolutely.
thing that I was going to say, so forget it.
That's all right.
It's fine. It'll come back or it won't. Okay. So if we, all of us listening, agree that it is important, monumentally important for us as moms to take care of ourselves, mentally and physically, to carve out time, etc. How do we begin to do that? What are different elements of a successful implementation of a self-care plan that you tell your clients to reduce
Yeah.
stress and
I
increase self-awareness? And how do we
and
start?
become the best. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
How to
first of
become a
all,
badass like
start
you?
small. We have to start small. That's what the
Absolutely.
first thing
Baby
that I
steps are
tell my
still
sons, that we
steps.
have to start. Baby steps are steps. And I have, I've coined this term. It's called the Chai Fun, CHIFUN framework, which is what, the elements that I believe that are necessary for the successful implementation of a self-care routine. So the C is that we need consistency. So we
Okay.
need to be consistent, because it's consistency that is going to develop the long life habits, because that is what we want
Right.
eventually. Is not just that we're going to start 2 weeks and do exercise, and then after that we're going to leave.
Yeah,
We
consistency is
want,
my problem. I'll
yeah,
start something gung ho and then
yeah,
3, 4 weeks later I crap out.
exactly. And then you have to really make it that you come back all the time, and that you have little gains, little wins every now and then, so that it keeps you going, because it's the momentum that is going to keep that consistency as well. So consistency, so that they become, these habits become, become a part of you, long life habits. Like, for example, like my running, uh, not all the time. Like, people think that because I am a marathon runner, I want to run all the time. It is not true. 80% of the time, I do not want to run all the time, but I make myself go, because I know how I feel when I come back. I
Right.
know how energized and happy, and I know how I make myself go, but it's really a matter of staying consistent. So consistency is key. Now, the H is for holistic. So we have to realize that self-care is not only taking a bath. Self-care, it's taking care of your physical body, your mental health, and your emotional health. So it really has to be, the three components, the three pillars. Um, I is for intentional, and we talked about a little bit like that earlier, that we need to make time. We need to schedule our
Yeah.
time, our self-care times, as if they were, you know, uh, meetings, meetings that we have to, business meetings. That's how I
I
take it.
schedule my writing,
Hmm.
it may have a different time every day, but it's on my calendar and it reminds me, my phone reminds me. And,
Hmm. Hmm.
you know, if I
So
can
it's a
do
matter.
that, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So make it intentional, like really schedule it, put it on the calendar and schedule it. Then there is the F, which is flexible. And this is key, especially for us moms who are, super busy, is to be flexible. If one day we cannot do our self-care routine, it's okay. Tomorrow is another day. So don't
Sure.
feel bad, because a lot of people, including me, let's say I would start my self-care and all that, and then there's a couple of days that I don't do it, so then I would lose interest, or I will feel, and it's like, no, be
Just
flexible,
start
say
again.
just start again. Who's watching? It's you. So you are the one
Right.
who is, have to have that, continue, keep going, even if it's not perfect. So be flexible. So flexibility is key. Then it's unique. So any self-care plan has to be unique to the person. So unique to the schedule, unique to your situation, your family situation. So we really look at, how we can incorporate your self-care moments, in your specific schedule, because not
Right.
everyone
Because
has
what
the same
works for me
schedule.
is going to be different than what works for you.
For everyone, exactly. And everyone has like different family situations, so it really has to be unique. Then for N is my tagline: self-care is non-negotiable. So non-negotiable. And no guilt. No guilt. There's another one that we have to, moms always believe that, they feel guilty because they take time, but they have to realize that, if you take time for you, you're just, you're putting your own oxygen mask first. And if
Right.
you do that, then you're going to be able to give the best of you
And you're
instead of
also
what's left of you.
right, and you're also giving yourselves your children a good role model. So
Hmm.
they see you taking
Exactly.
care of themselves, so they realize that
Mhm.
that has to be a priority for them as well, and that they can do
Exactly.
it too. So it gives them permission to
Yeah.
then take care of themselves. And we can, if we do this, then we can sort of stop
Hmm.
this selfish lie that we tell ourselves in its
That's
tracks
it.
and not pass it forward.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's one of the keys, to give the good example to our kids, that you
Right.
really have to take care of yourself as well. It's not selfish. So do it. And
No.
I seen my son, like my youngest son. He's not the one who's not autistic. He's not a very sporty guy, but he because he sees me going for my runs, he goes for walks, which is good, which is
Sure.
perfect. Even if it's not a run, it's a walk, but at least he gets out of the
He's
house
moving, he's
and
getting
he's
air in his
moving.
lungs, he's getting
Yeah,
out. Right.
yeah, and he does it every day now. Like, and he's studying from home, so he does it. He comes from him. He goes and does his walk. He goes for his walk once or twice a day. So it's perfect.
Well, especially homeschooling now, like sitting in front of a computer and attending
Yeah.
school from home, you're getting even less exercise, less
Mhm.
movement
Yeah.
than you would if he was, even if he was going to school and sitting in different
Yes.
classrooms, you know. So I
Exactly.
think
Or
now
taking the
it's even more
bus. Yeah.
important
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
otherwise I mean, I could go whole weekends without leaving the house. And
Yeah.
in some respects, that's wonderful because I give myself the rest time that I need. But in some other respects, like I should throw my damn expensive sneakers on that I did a 2 weeks worth of research to pick out, you know, throw them on and go for a walk, you know. There's no reason
Mm-hmm.
why I can't, you know, put
Mm-hmm.
a podcast in and go listen
Yeah.
and walk
Yeah. Yeah.
instead.
Well, that's what I do. Yeah. That's what I do. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
And even things like that, I remember what I was going to say before, can be meditative practices, you know, like
Mm-hmm.
I find that when I allow my brain, my mind, the stillness and the freedom of meditation,
Mm-hmm.
that it just sort of miraculously solves problems or
Mm-hmm.
comes up with creative solutions to things that I had been trying to come up with. And,
Absolutely.
you know, like sitting here, like squinting my eyes and like focusing and forcing myself to come up with these things just builds a big brick wall around the creativity. And
Mm-hmm.
but if I do a little meditative practice or and not
Yep.
really focus about it, then it just sort of comes to
It
me.
comes to you. Yeah. Yeah. I
Right.
agree.
And I think that what so many people incorrectly believe, including myself previously, was that meditation, you know, you had to sit cross-legged in a quiet place and breathe and focus on your breathing. And you know, like if you weren't doing that traditional, like what we think
Then you were
meditation
not doing
looks
any
like,
meditation. Yeah.
right. But walking can be meditative, swimming can be
Absolutely.
meditative,
Yep.
running, taking a hike, all of
Yep.
that is meditative because you're
Absolutely.
out, you're moving your body, your brain,
Mm-hmm.
you're breathing, and it's
Yep.
keeping you quiet,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
disconnected from the world sort of
Yeah,
space.
absolutely. It's meditation on the move. That's how I call it. And one of the things
Yeah.
that I actually tell my clients, like the ones that come and that haven't exercised for a long time, I said, start with a mindful walk. You know,
Yeah.
start with a short mindful walk, like 10 to 15 minutes, but do it, you know, at least five days a week. That's how I started. That's how my journey started with the dog. I was going, but
Yeah.
really it was like I was into mindfulness. I was, you know, just concentrating, focusing on the senses, you know, the smells and the smell of the flowers and the sights and my movement and all that. It's really brought me to the present moment. That's and I agree with you. Like, for example, sometimes I'm just too much work or I want to try to come up with a solution or and I said, no, that's it's time for me to go for my run or for my walk because I need it. And when I come back, it's like, okay, everything comes like this.
Sure.
Because it's really, you know, you're taking time off. You're taking this time to kind of declutter.
Yeah.
And yeah, absolutely. So
Yeah,
I
it
believe.
closes all the browser windows. You know,
Hmm.
I had seen a meme or something last year where it was like, this is what my brain looks like most days.
Yes.
And it was like somebody's computer screen with like
Yeah.
50 browser windows open. And so I
Yes,
think,
sometimes.
oh my God, that's what my brain is like. But allowing myself some of this, you know, meditative something or other closes all the browser windows at the same
Yep.
time.
Exactly. Exactly.
So
And
you're
it
less
gives you space.
distracted.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. It gives you
Exactly.
mental space for what's important. And that's key. Yeah.
And it always solves the problem
Hmm.
without me thinking about it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I believe that. I 100% believe that. I found, I think my biggest ideas come when I'm running or when I'm walking. They come when
Right.
I'm in motion.
Yeah. A lot of
Yeah.
times I get them in the shower, which is
Hmm.
very
Oh, yeah,
inopportune
too,
time
as
because you
well.
can't write them down, you
That's
know,
true. Yeah.
because you're all wet. But
I also get them in the shower. So yeah, yeah. Hmm.
yeah, I was listening to Brene Brown talk recently on her podcast, a lot Unlocking Us, and she's a swimmer, and she had recently sort of discovered that her swimming practice, which she just uses to disconnect. You know,
Hmm.
there's no phone, there's no email, there's no text message, nobody can reach her.
Yeah.
She's just solitary and she's doing her laps and she's just recreational. She's not competitive about it, although she is a competitive person if you listen to her describe herself. But she said that she's even figured out like a waterproof paper and pen, or like it must be some sort of
When she
white
gets her ideas. Yeah.
thing, and
Okay.
she leaves it at one end of the swimming pool. And so she's swimming, and because inevitably she'll get an idea like for a book that she's writing, or something she wants to research, or a question or something. And as she gets to the end of the lane, she'll write it down
You
and
write it down.
swimming. So she
Oh,
doesn't have to keep thinking about it anymore, and she
mhm.
can just keep swimming.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
it's
Oh,
very
I could totally agree with that. I totally agree with that, because sometimes I get these ideas that they come all of a sudden, but it's really to when you're in motion. So I don't know. It's yeah, but I mean, for me, as a former burned out mom, I believe that movement is important, and as well meditation. All these things that really help us just declutter the mind. It's
yeah.
key.
It's so important. It's so easy to get bogged down in all of that. And then, I find that my blood pressure goes up and my lungs get tight and my breathing gets stressed. And I feel like I'm in my brain, like on one of those hamster wheels inside of a hamster cage. And I
Yeah,
can't quite get off of that. And it takes effort and
yeah,
intentionality to sort of, all right, let's do something else.
it is. Yeah, yeah. You got it. Yeah, intentionality. It is really intentional. Like as I said, for example, like I don't. It's not that I love running all the time. I make myself go because I know that
Yeah.
it helps me, physically, but mentally, mostly mentally, because it really for my mindset. Like I know that when I go out in the cold like this, it's when I come back, I feel amazing. So
Yeah.
it's really intentional. Yeah, being intentional and really set time. Carve some time for yourself when you are by yourself doing things that that are good for you physically or mentally.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the consistency that's the problem.
Yeah.
I've joined gyms for a long time. I go to the gym and I build up a routine. For me, it's a routine. I'm
Mhm.
a creature of habit.
Yeah.
I like to think that I'm like this bohemian, flexible, fly by the seat of my pants type of woman. I kind of romanticize that, but I'm really not. And I find the most safety, the most
In routines. Hmm.
in routines.
Hmm.
And so I get I would go to the gym at the same time every day, and I would do, different workouts or different classes when I was there, but I was there.
Hmm.
And then, for a while, when in my early 20s, I was working a job as a computer graphic artist, and we had these really weird hours from 1:30 in the afternoon to 9:30 at night, which was
Hmm.
really peculiar. Like we could never eat dinner with people, it was just odd. But because we didn't have to be at work till 1:30 in the afternoon, I went to the gym every single day before work. And I would bring my work clothes and stuff to shower and do my hair and whatever. And I would do the workout and then get showered and dressed at the gym and then go to work.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
even if I went out with colleagues, which we, was our early 20s, so we were out at bars on Tuesday nights and, whatever. But we didn't have to be at work till 1:30 in the afternoon. So I could
That's
still
it.
sleep in, go to the
Yeah.
gym and still be at work, and I was fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was a routine. Then I
Hmm.
switched jobs and the routine changed. So I
Hmm.
stopped going,
Hmm.
and
But it's true though. Yeah. If you build it as a routine, then you don't have to even think. It just becomes automatic. If you
right.
stack a few things together, it becomes kind of automatic, and you don't even need motivation, because a lot of people say, oh, well, yeah, I don't have motivation. But then
Right.
if it's scheduled and if it's a routine that you do every day, then
Right.
most of the time you're going to do it, because it's just it's just there. It's just something that you do all the time.
Exactly. I
So
mean,
yeah.
I'm a teacher, so I get out of school at 2 p.m. And
Hmm.
so I have quite a few colleagues who are younger than me and have much more energy and don't quite have kids. So it makes it a little easier, but they work out the minute they get home. So they come home from school, they don't schedule anything after
Okay.
4, and then from 3 to 4 in the afternoon, that's
They
when
do
they
the
do
thing.
their exercise. But while they were doing that, they're a little younger than me, I had kids at home.
Yes.
So that 3 or 4 doesn't work. So for quite a while, I can't even tell you how long, but it was definitely at least 6 months, maybe even a whole school year. I was getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning and working out for an hour before school, because I get
For
up at
work.
5 because I'm teaching by 7.
Oh,
Um,
yes, true.
but the 4 a.m. thing really was not long-term sustainable. That was just too much.
You couldn't sleep enough. You couldn't.
No, I wasn't getting enough sleep. And so I was on this high, and it made the day really great because I got
Yeah.
to exercise before
Yeah. Yeah.
my whole day started. So I had all these endorphins from the exercise,
Yeah.
and I was just energized and
The
creative, and
whole day.
I was great at being me
Mm-hmm.
throughout the whole day because of that. But the time frame was really unsustainable. Um,
Yeah. It's a matter of trying to figure out, like, in your day, if you have any. And as I said, it doesn't need to be, it doesn't need to be like an hour. It could be like just 15 minutes, but that you
sure.
do consistently.
Yeah.
That you consistently. Is there some time that you can find either in the afternoon or after you come back from work before the kids? But the kids, how old are they now?
Mine are in college, so I have no excuse.
Okay. Okay. Oh, there you go. There you go.
No excuse. No
Yeah,
excuse.
there
My
you go.
son's in graduate school in Burlington, Vermont, and he's 22, so whatever. He comes home when he comes home.
When he
And my
wants.
daughter is 19. She's a junior in college, and she's been home since our Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And isn't going back until February because of the
COVID.
COVID. So,
Uh-huh.
but she's 19 years old. She works 2 jobs, and she's
She's
very
not at home.
self-sufficient.
Yeah.
I don't have, I mean, I'm still her mom. I still have mom things to do with her,
Yeah.
but she's not dependent upon me for
For anything.
everything. So I have plenty of time to do podcasts and sleep and write and whatever else, and work and grade papers and so on. And there is absolutely no excuse why I can't be going for walks or down on the treadmill in my basement. I bought a subscription to like a downward dog app on my phone, like to do
Like a
yoga. I
yoga.
just
Yeah.
don't do
Yoga.
it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think there's some mental roadblock that I have to uncover.
Some
Why?
limiting belief that, I don't know, maybe that you don't have time, or that, if you start, then you're not gonna be able to continue, or
I don't know.
yeah.
I have to meditate about it, I think, some more, and
Mm-hmm.
really concentrate on it and figure it out. And I know, like, I'm an emotional eater, so I get stressed, and
Yeah.
because I don't have another outlet for that
Yeah.
stress except the writing,
Mm-hmm.
and chatting and talking to people and therapy and so on. I mean, those are all very important pieces of my week, but I'm an emotional eater. And so
Mm-hmm.
I feel stressed, and it's just easier to grab cookies or ice cream or,
Mm-hmm.
and I know it's not healthy, but it feels really good. And for the moment, it's this amazing immediate gratification. And I don't do drugs, and I don't drink. So, I don't
Yeah,
have
it's a little
those.
ice cream is
So,
good. Yeah.
right,
Uh-huh.
right. And my therapist is just like, all right, stop berating yourself or chastising yourself for this right now. You're in the middle of a global pandemic. Maybe this isn't the right time
You just started a podcast.
immediately. Right, right. Maybe this isn't the time to like unpack all of it or feel bad about yourself for not having unpacked the emotional eating thing. Maybe we'll wait till the podcast is not the podcast, the pandemic is over, and then work on it. So I'm like, well, that's really kind to myself, so,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. No, and as I said, like, start small. Start
right.
small. Like, if you have, like I said, like I began with 10-minute walks, and then I bought myself some tapes. It was like the 10-minute solution. I think it was Pilates 10-minute solution. And for me, it's, 10 minutes, that's good. That's my kind
Right.
of thing. So that's how it started. Like, and then I started incorporating that, and then the running. But it's really a matter of saying, okay, I'm going to start small, and then we'll see. So
Yeah.
go for a
I like
walk
the
or
start
whatever.
small idea. I'm
Yeah.
usually a jump in with both feet type of girl,
Yeah.
hence having this podcast with it's only 3 weeks old. I just get an idea and I run with it. So, like the year before, I got a hysterectomy a year and a half ago, which is sort of kind of derailed everything for quite a while. But the year before that, I had joined a very intense, I won't say the name of it, gym that
Mhm.
was doing what do they call that, interval training. And it was,
Hit or something.
yeah, it was
HITT.
high interval, right,
Yeah.
high intensity interval training. And I get where that's really effective for
Mhm.
people,
Mhm.
but it was too much for, I was 50 at the time, so it was too much for couch potato Marcy at
Yeah.
50 with all sorts of, feminine issues, gynecological issues going on, to go from couch potato to high intensity interval training and
Mhm.
expect to be okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No,
And
and
it sent
it's,
me to a cardiologist because my heart,
oh
it was
my
too much
gosh.
for me. I thought I was
Yeah.
having a heart attack. Like it was scary,
Yeah.
scary shit.
Mhm.
And yeah, you're right. Baby steps are still steps. I have to start
Yeah.
small and just be consistent. And as I feel stronger
Mhm.
or I feel more comfortable with that, then I can,
Start, yeah,
yeah,
increasing your time. And it's research says that if you have micro goals, like that's key. Micro goals give you micro
micro
achievements.
goals.
Micro goals
Yeah.
give you micro achievements, and every time that you achieve a micro goal, then you get a rush of endorphins, you get a rush of dopamine, and this makes it that this is what keeps the momentum going, because you want to
Right.
go back. You want to go back because you achieved this. So that's why if you start 10 minutes, and then the next
So
week you
what would a micro goal be? I want to walk 5 out of the next 7 days for 10 minutes each day.
yeah,
Would that be a micro goal, or would it
yeah,
be just the one day as the micro
the
goal?
one day, because what you want is you want to cross that micro goal and then feel like that you've achieved something. So
Right.
every day is your micro goal. That the other, like, the what you do in the week can be your short-term goal, for example. And
Okay.
then your micro goal is what you do that week, the day. So it's like your checklist. You get a
Sure.
checklist. So for example, for, let's say that you want to have your self-care, goals for the micro goals for the day. So that, let's say it's 10-minute walk, and then you want to do a 5-minute meditation, and then you
Right.
cross that out, and it's, you cross it out, you did it. So
I did it.
next day you're going to come back and you want to do that again. And if that walk, it's amazing, then you're going to start increasing
Sure.
your time. And that's how I actually
And
started
being able to
first.
write down that it's done
That is done. That's
feels
what gives,
good.
yeah, it gives you that dopamine, and then that comes back, then it gives you the feeling, oh, I want to come back because this is amazing. I
Sure.
feel, it gives you confidence. You feel more, yeah, you feel like you have achieved something that,
That you're proud of.
it
Yeah.
doesn't need to be an hour. It doesn't need to be a marathon. Like, that's what I tell my clients. You don't need to train for a marathon. Just start small, and that
Yeah.
will keep you coming back, because what we really want is to create those long life habits, because then it will become part of you. You will crave going for walks, and and you're going to put it on your calendar, and you're going to have your boundaries. And then you want to say, if you have too much to do or something, or you feel that you need to take that walk because it's going to help you clear your mind, you're going to do it, because you know how great it feels when you come back. So
Right.
it's really a matter of yeah, setting those micro goals, and then start small.
Okay.
That's
So
it.
my first micro goal is going to be to go for a 10-minute walk tomorrow. It's dark now, so I can't do it tonight.
Yeah,
But
yeah, tomorrow.
tomorrow,
Yeah,
tomorrow,
yeah,
tomorrow's a new
yeah,
day.
yeah, yeah.
All
And
right.
keep me posted,
I will. I'm
because
going
I
to
want
write
to
this
know.
down.
I want to know
Yeah.
how it's going.
And I bought this new charcoal facial thing. So I
Hmm.
think I'm going to go for my walk and then I'm going to put the facial thing on and then meditate while it's cooking on my skin, doing its thing.
Oh yes, 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 yes. Because when you're coming back, it's going to be cold, and oh,
Yeah.
that's nice.
I think
That's
that's what
nice.
I'm going to do. Okay. I'm
Yeah,
going to write it
sounds
down
good.
I'm going to put
Yeah.
it in my phone and I'm going to
Mhm.
do it. And I'm going to
Yeah.
cross it off. And then I'm going to show you a picture of me crossing it off.
Yes. Yes, please. Yes, keep me
Okay.
posted. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, Claudia, this was great. I feel like I hope my listeners are as empowered and as inspired as I am, because I'm like jazzed now. This is awesome. Okay, so before we say goodbye for now, what's one last piece of Claudia wisdom you want to share with the audience, with the listeners?
My wisdom is the same, the same thing I tell, everyone, so, and women and men, I mean, not only moms, but everyone, like self-care is not negotiable, please, especially in these times of COVID. You have
Yeah.
to take care of your physical, your mental health, and anything that you can do. Like I have I have this proprietary process that I have developed specifically, with the strategies that I use, which is to exercise. So
Mhm.
going for a walk, then it's called the 3MJPC stress resilience method, and then the 3M. So the first M is move your body, and as we've been speaking, it doesn't need to be an hour. 10 minutes to 10-minute walk can do the job. The second M is for so M for moving your body. The second M is for mindfulness, which is equal to meditation. So it's being in the moment, trying to find mindfulness times during the day. And as we said, you do not need to sit for 20 minutes and do meditation, and you can do it anywhere.
Sure.
Going for a walk, really, it's immersing yourself in your senses. So it can be
Mhm.
even when you're cooking, you're smelling the spices, you're steering. So
Right.
anytime that you can find, because what you want to do is we want to declutter the mind. So just focusing on your senses. So try to find times in the day that you can do mindfulness activities. Take when you're taking a shower, when you're taking a bath. So mindfulness is key. So the other M is mindset. Oh, mindset. Working
Mindset
on your
is huge.
mindset is so huge, especially in these times of COVID. So the mindset aspect is key. And that I have another little framework that I call the Fgps framework. And the F stands for focus. So focusing on what you have, which is gratitude. So to
Mhm.
be grateful, focusing on what matters. So what are your, the needle movers, in your day, and focusing on what you can control. And this is key again, and
So
it
that's
brings
huge.
us back to the mindfulness, to being in the present moment. What can you control now? Don't be anxious about future anxieties or past or things in the past. Stay in the present moment. So focus on in the moment. So that is the focus. And then the other piece is the G is growth mindset. The growth mindset is when people believe that you can your skills and your intelligence can be developed through work, through dedication and determination, and is also what allows you to see challenges as opportunities to grow, to learn and grow. So that try to find, and one of the ways that people work on nurturing growth mindset is to go out of your comfort zone regularly.
Sure.
Go out of your comfort zone, going and doing things that you're scared of regularly, and this will help you grow a growth mindset. Then FGPS, the P stands for positive. Start try to stay positive, a positive mindset, and for that, I can give you a couple of examples. Quick examples is not binge on the news. Try to not, if you can, if you can,
Yeah, I
stop
don't.
watching the news. I don't either, but
No.
some people
I know
do.
my husband does. And so I know
Yeah,
if something huge happens, he'll just tell me.
he'll tell
Like,
you.
I
That's
just
it.
can't
Yeah. So
do it.
stop binging in the news. Like a lot of people, especially now in times of COVID, we have so much stressing and anxiety coming from the news. So
Yeah.
try to, and then the other thing to empower your mindset is to listen to podcasts,
Yeah.
inspiring podcasts like yours, or Brene Brown, or whoever, that really with inspiring guests, and that will empower your day. Listen to
Absolutely.
podcasts, listen to audiobooks on personal development, listen to shows. But for me, I can tell you that this has helped me so much during COVID, because
Yeah.
I'm a single mom, and I have this my son who's severe autistic, needs a lot of supervision. And I know that when I'm doing house chores, I am listening to something. I have to be listening to something. So it
Yeah.
has to be either a
I
podcast or
do
something.
too.
Yeah.
I'm
So
a big fan of podcasts and audiobooks.
yeah. So that's key. And then the other one is self-love. Love yourself no matter what. So that's the S from the self-love. So the mindset part is key. And I think okay, so the 3 M J, the J is journaling, which we talked.
Yeah.
Journaling is great for stress relief, and the
And
research is there.
focus and
Focus and
creativity and
yes,
yeah.
goal setting. I use it for
Yeah.
goal setting in the evening. So journaling is key. So that's part of the 3M JPC. And then 3J,
The P.
the P is passion. Passion. Try to find yourself a hobby that you're passionate about.
Yeah.
That is key, because it takes you out of that, the whirlwind of your life. To just make some space for something that you're passionate about. And it can
Yeah.
be creative, like writing, like we love writing. Or it can be physical activity, something that you're moving. So anything. Like I'm lucky because I combine my two passions. I combine. Bless you.
Thank
I
you.
combine. Yeah. I combine my passion for running and my passion for it's just my passion that I love. So but really finding yourself a passion is key, especially in these times of COVID. If you can, at least 10-15 minutes per day.
Yeah.
And then the last one is connection. C for
Connection.
connection. Yes. Be connected, stay connected to your friend, and build that network, social network. And it is not only family members and neighbors and people from work. It's mentors. It's people
Right.
who have specific
Specific
abilities or
skill
skills,
set that you
skill
want to
sets that
embody
you
yourself.
need.
Yeah.
That's it, that you need, or that your kids need. For example, like if you're a special needs mom, you need to have your specialists, your kid specialists in your network, because you
Absolutely.
want to be able to ask questions and be close to them. So it's really, and of course, connection in times of COVID is so key. You need to stay connected.
Yeah. We as humans are
Yeah.
hardwired for this need for
Yeah.
connection.
Like Zoom, FaceTime, whatever. We need to stay connected, because
Absolutely.
otherwise, it's mental health issue.
Yeah, last Friday night I got together with my cousins on my mom's side of the family, and for an hour we were on Zoom playing games. My cousin found
Oh, that's amazing.
a platform that we could connect through the Zoom, so we could see it on our computers and use our phones to answer questions. And we were playing like a Pictionary type game.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
like silly and funny, and we were laughing together. And I can't overstate what this did for my mental health. Just this
Exactly.
1 hour last Friday night.
Yes.
It was amazing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I believe that connection has to be huge, especially now.
Yeah.
We need to stay connected. We cannot isolate ourselves. We have
It's
to
too
stay
easy to
connected.
do that. And then you
Yeah.
get depressed and you start spiraling in your own thoughts, and you get stuck on
Absolutely.
that hamster wheel and forget it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So those are my little tips.
That's
for
huge. I
you.
just took like a half a page of notes on that, Claudia. I mean,
Well, that's good.
yeah, I mean, wow, I've been writing fast and furiously this whole time. Hope the pen scratching noise doesn't show up on the podcast, but amazing. Wow.
Hmm.
Okay. Well, this has been amazingly mind opening. This is fabulous. I'm so glad that you were here, and I'm sure the listeners are all thrilled and inspired and ready to make their micro goals and achieve their
Yes.
micro achievements and get their
Yes.
mindset and their positivity and connection. And this has just been fabulous. So in the show notes, I will link your website and the titles of your books, like linked to where they can buy them or buy the book on Amazon, and the new title for the upcoming book and all that sort of stuff. So
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
be there. So if you're
And if
listening, go to
you
the
have
show notes because it's all there.
If you have moms, I have a Facebook group also for moms.
Yeah. Oh, I'll link that too.
You linked that. I think I gave it to you. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm in it.
Oh, you're in it. Yes, that's true. Yes,
I think so.
you
I don't
are.
know.
Yes, you are.
And I'll
Yes,
link your Instagram, your badass autism mom Instagram, which I just love. The pictures of you running in your colorful gear and your sneakers in the snow, and it's just like,
well, that's one of the things that that actually motivates me to go out. It's like, okay, what am I gonna wear today? What colorful outfit I'm gonna wear today? I have to make myself.
but it matches the headband and
That's
the
it.
shirt and the sneakers and your socks, and like it's all
Yeah.
so cute, so cute. Fabulous. All right. Thank you so much for Claudia and for your time. And I know you're crazy busy, and giving me this hour has been just a blessing. Thank you very much for being here.
And thank you, Marcy, for having me. Such an amazing podcast. And I'm so proud of you. You just started 3 weeks ago.
3 weeks
and
ago.
It's just been amazing. And
I have guests booked now through February.
Amazing.
So,
amazing.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited. A lot of really cool episodes planned.
Yeah. And this is you. This is yours.
This is it. This is what I've been imagining to be doing, while I was writing my memoir last winter that was just published over the summer. I was imagining something, but I couldn't sort of figure out what. To be able to talk about these things that are so important and so passionate for me, and to be able to connect with amazing guests like you who are experts in specific aspects of this, specific fields, to bring this knowledge and to elevate all of these messages and bring them to listeners. This is really what I wanted to do. I just could not figure out how.
But you did. Yes.
Yeah.
And the world is better for it. So I'm
Thank
so
you
proud
so
of
much.
you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. This has been wonderful.
Thank you.